The wrestling world is a spectacle of strength, drama, and ambition, where athletes push their bodies and minds to the limit to entertain fans across the globe. Yet, beneath the glitz and glamour of the squared circle lies a world fraught with challenges, sacrifices, and untold stories. Among the many who have stepped into the ring, few have a story as compelling, enigmatic, and deeply human as Shelly Martinez. Known to wrestling fans as Ariel, her journey is one of resilience, transformation, and an unrelenting pursuit of self-identity in an industry that often demands conformity. Ariel wasn't just a wrestler. She was an icon of individuality, a performer who used the wrestling ring as a canvas to express her uniqueness and creativity. Yet her path wasn't without its trials. Behind her charismatic on-screen persona lay a woman navigating the complexities of fame, personal struggles, and the darker realities of the wrestling business. The camera opens on a dimly lit wrestling ring, its ropes frayed and its mat scarred from countless battles. The air is thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the faint echo of a past match. A single spotlight illuminates the center of the ring, symbolizing the stage that shaped Ariel's life and career. This is where she thrived, where she struggled, and where she left her mark. Ariel's significance in professional wrestling extended beyond her moves and matches. She represented a breaking of molds, an embodiment of the outsider spirit that resonated with fans who felt unseen or misunderstood. Her vampire persona, a blend of mystique and theatricality, was a refreshing departure from the cookie-cutter characters that often populated wrestling promotions. But it was her authenticity, both in and out of character, that truly captivated audiences. The documentary sets its tone by diving into the dichotomy of Ariel's life. As Shelly Martinez, she was a passionate and creative soul, a woman driven by a love for storytelling and performance. As Ariel, she became a symbol of rebellion and empowerment, captivating fans with her dark charisma and undeniable presence. This duality defined her journey, shaping the highs and lows that would come to define her legacy. The narrative begins with a dramatic montage of her most iconic moments, her debut in major wrestling promotions, her alliances and rivalries, and her unforgettable matches that left fans in awe. Interspersed with these are glimpses of her life outside the ring, a young woman finding her voice, challenging the status quo, and striving to maintain her individuality in an industry that often demanded conformity. As the introduction unfolds, the focus shifts to the broader themes of Shelly's journey. What does it mean to stay true to oneself in a world that often rewards conformity? How does one navigate the pressures of fame, the weight of expectation, and the pursuit of personal fulfillment? These questions, deeply embedded in Ariel's story, form the heart of the documentary. The introduction concludes by setting the stage for the chapters to come, promising a deep dive into the life of a wrestler who was more than just a performer. Ariel's story is one of triumph and tragedy, of breaking barriers and facing adversity, and of finding light in the darkest corners of the wrestling ring. As the camera lingers on the empty ring, the narrative invites viewers to step into Ariel's world, a world of wrestling ring realities. Before she became Ariel, the dark and enigmatic figure who captivated wrestling audiences, Shelly Martinez was a young girl growing up in Southern California with dreams far beyond her surroundings. Born on February 9th, 1980, in Chino, California, Shelly was the youngest of 3 siblings in a tight-knit family. Her upbringing was marked by love, creativity, and a desire to stand out, a drive that would become a defining trait in her life. Shelly's childhood was filled with vibrant imagination and an innate love for performing. Even as a child, she displayed a flair for drama and theatrics, often staging mini-plays with her siblings or entertaining her family with impromptu performances. Her parents, though not affluent, were supportive of her artistic pursuits, encouraging her to embrace her individuality. Growing up in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Shelly was deeply influenced by the cultural icons of the time. She idolized larger-than-life figures like Madonna and Cyndi Lauper, whose bold fashion and rebellious attitudes resonated with her. They showed me that it was okay to be different. Shelly would later reflect, "They made me believe that being unique was a strength, not a weakness." Her early exposure to wrestling came through her older brother, who was an avid fan of the sport. The two would watch wrestling shows together, bonding over the dramatic storylines and high-energy matches. Shelly was particularly drawn to the women of wrestling, whose strength and charisma inspired her. Yet, even as she admired their athleticism, she felt that something was missing, an element of individuality and creative expression that she would later strive to bring to the ring. Shelly's teenage years were a time of exploration and self-discovery. In high school, she was known for her eclectic style and fearless personality. While many of her peers followed trends, Shelly set her own, often experimenting with gothic fashion, bold makeup, and unconventional hairstyles. Her look made her a standout figure, earning her admiration from some and ridicule from others. "I didn't care if people thought I was weird," she said. "I just wanted to be myself." Despite her confident exterior, Shelly faced her share of challenges during these formative years. She struggled with self-doubt and a desire to find her place in the world. Her love for performance was a constant, but she wasn't sure how to channel it into a career. It wasn't until her late teens that she began to seriously consider wrestling as a path. Inspired by the strong, charismatic women she had grown up watching, her first step toward the wrestling world came in an unexpected way. While working various jobs to support herself, Shelly began modeling, a pursuit that allowed her to explore her love for performance and creativity. Through modeling, she developed confidence and stage presence, skills that would later serve her well in the wrestling ring. She also began networking within the entertainment industry, meeting people who encouraged her to pursue her passions on a larger scale. A pivotal moment came when Shelly attended a local wrestling event with her brother. Watching the matches up close reignited her childhood fascination with the sport. She was captivated by the performers' ability to command an audience, to tell stories through their movements, and to create moments of pure emotion. It was in that moment that she decided to pursue wrestling, not just as a career, but as a way to express herself and connect with others. With her mind set on becoming a wrestler, Shelly faced the daunting task of breaking into an industry that was both physically demanding and male-dominated. She began researching training schools and promotions, reaching out to trainers and attending local events to learn more about the business. Her enthusiasm and determination caught the attention of several trainers, who saw in her a raw talent and an undeniable passion for the sport. Shelly's early influences extended beyond wrestling and performance. She was deeply spiritual, finding strength and guidance in her faith. This spirituality became a source of comfort and resilience, helping her navigate the challenges she would face in the years to come. It also informed her unique perspective on life and her approach to wrestling, which she saw as both an art form and a means of personal expression. By the time she entered her 20s, Shelly was ready to take her first steps into the wrestling world. Armed with a sense of purpose and a desire to stand out, she began her journey toward becoming aerial, a journey that would test her in ways she could never have anticipated, but would ultimately shape her into the icon she was destined to be. Shelly Martinez's first steps into the wrestling industry were filled with excitement, uncertainty, and an unwavering determination to make her mark. Breaking into a field as competitive and physically demanding as professional wrestling was no small feat. But Shelly approached the challenge with the same fierce individuality that had defined her life up to that point. Her journey began at a local wrestling school in Southern California, where she enrolled to learn the basics of the craft. The training was grueling, testing both her physical and mental limits. Each day brought new challenges, learning how to execute moves safely, perfecting her footwork, and understanding the psychology of the ring. Shelly quickly realized that wrestling was far more complex than it appeared on television. It wasn't just about strength and agility. It was about storytelling, connection, and commanding an audience. Her trainers were a mix of seasoned veterans and up-and-coming performers, many of whom saw potential in Shelly despite her lack of experience. One trainer, in particular, took her under his wing. Recognizing her charisma and determination, he pushed her to refine her technique and develop her in-ring persona, emphasizing the importance of character development in wrestling. "You can have all the moves in the world," he told her, "but if you can't make the audience feel something, you'll never be remembered." Shelly embraced this advice, channeling her creativity and love for performance into crafting a unique persona, drawing from her Gothic-inspired aesthetic and fascination with supernatural themes. She began developing the character that would later become Ariel. Even in these early stages, her vision was clear. She wanted to stand out, to bring something different to the wrestling world. Her dark, mysterious persona was a reflection of her own individuality, a way to connect with fans who, like her, felt like outsiders. Her first matches were held in small venues, local gyms, community centers, and indie wrestling promotions that catered to dedicated but modest crowds. These matches were far removed from the glitz and spectacle of televised wrestling, but they were an essential training ground. Shelly used these early opportunities to hone her skills, experimenting with moves, promos, and character work. She often faced seasoned opponents who challenged her to rise to their level, forcing her to adapt and improve with every match. One of the most pivotal moments of her early career came during a match in a small promotion. Despite being relatively inexperienced, Shelly delivered a performance that captivated the audience, showcasing not only her athleticism, but also her ability to tell a compelling story in the ring. The reaction from the crowd was electric, a validation of her efforts and a glimpse of what she could achieve. That night, she realized the power of wrestling as a form of storytelling and connection, a realization that would shape her approach to the sport moving forward. As she continued to wrestle on the indie circuit, Shelly faced her share of setbacks and challenges. The physical toll of wrestling was significant, with bumps, bruises, and injuries becoming a regular part of her life. Financially, the struggle was real. Indie wrestling didn't pay much, and she often had to take on side jobs to make ends meet. There were moments of doubt, times when she questioned whether the sacrifices were worth it, but every time she stepped into the ring, she felt a sense of purpose and belonging that outweighed the hardships. Her big break came when she caught the attention of talent scouts from Total Nonstop Action Wrestling (TNA), one of the leading wrestling promotions at the time. They were impressed by her unique look, her charisma, and her growing reputation on the indie scene. Shelly was offered an opportunity to work with the company, marking a significant step forward in her career. Joining TNA was both thrilling and intimidating. The promotion had a national audience, and the stakes were higher than anything Shelly had experienced before. She knew she had to prove herself not only as a performer, but also as a professional capable of thriving under the pressures of a larger stage. Her early appearances in TNA allowed her to showcase her persona and in-ring abilities, earning her a growing fan base and the respect of her peers. It was during her time with TNA that Shelly began to refine the Ariel character, blending elements of gothic mystique, supernatural allure, and fierce independence. The character resonated with fans who were drawn to her unique presence and authenticity. For Shelly, Ariel was more than just a persona, it was an extension of herself, a way to channel her creativity and connect with audiences on a deeper level. As she transitioned from TNA to WWE's developmental territory, Shelly faced new challenges and opportunities. WWE, the largest wrestling promotion in the world, offered her a platform to reach millions of fans, but also came with its own set of pressures and expectations. In this new environment, she worked tirelessly to adapt, learning the intricacies of WWE style and refining her character to fit the company's vision while staying true to herself. The section closes with a pivotal moment, Shelly's first major televised appearance as Ariel, a debut that introduced her to a global audience. The build-up, the anticipation, and the roar of the crowd as she stepped into the ring were all a culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and determination. For Shelly, it was a dream realized, but she knew it was only the beginning of a journey that would test her in ways she could never have imagined. Shelly Martinez's rise to fame as Ariel was a journey filled with determination, creativity, and perseverance. After years of honing her craft on the indie wrestling scene and gaining valuable experience in promotions like TNA, she finally stepped onto the global stage with World Wrestling Entertainment WWE. It was here that her career would reach new heights, catapulting her into the spotlight and solidifying her legacy as a unique and unforgettable performer. Her debut in WWE's developmental territory was met with excitement and curiosity. Fans were drawn to her distinctive look, a blend of gothic mystique and dark charisma that set her apart from the roster's more conventional characters. Shelly's character, Ariel, was crafted to embrace these traits, blending elements of vampiric allure with a fierce, independent attitude. The creative team recognized her potential, and she quickly became a standout figure in developmental programming. Ariel's persona wasn't just a gimmick, it was a reflection of Shelly's authenticity and individuality. She poured her creativity into the character, designing her wardrobe, makeup, and promos to align with her vision. Fans connected with her authenticity, seeing Ariel as more than just a wrestling character. She was a symbol of embracing one's uniqueness in a world that often demanded conformity. Shelly's hard work paid off when she was called up to WWE's main roster, debuting as Ariel on the ECW brand. Her arrival was marked by intrigue and excitement, with fans eager to see how her character would evolve on a larger stage. Paired with wrestler Kevin Thorne, Ariel became a central figure in the brand's gothic-themed storyline. Together, they formed a menacing duo that brought an element of supernatural mystique to the show. One of the defining aspects of Ariel's rise to fame was her ability to connect with fans through her character's charisma and presence. Whether she was delivering eerie, seductive promos or participating in intense matches, Ariel captivated audiences with her unique blend of theatrics and athleticism. Her partnership with Kevin Thorne was particularly well received, with the duo's chemistry adding depth and intrigue to their storylines. As Ariel's popularity grew, so did her opportunities. She participated in high-profile matches and storylines that showcased her versatility as a performer. One memorable feud saw her facing off against some of the company's top female talent, delivering performances that highlighted her in-ring skills and storytelling abilities. Her matches were more than just displays of athleticism. They were narratives that kept fans invested and engaged. Behind the scenes, Shelly's rise to fame was fueled by her relentless work ethic and commitment to her craft. She spent countless hours training, rehearsing, and refining her performances, always striving to improve and evolve. Her dedication earned her the respect of her peers and the admiration of fans, who recognized her as a performer who truly cared about her art. However, Shelly's rise to fame wasn't without its challenges. The pressures of performing on a global stage, coupled with the demands of WWE's rigorous schedule, tested her resilience. The industry's backstage politics and creative constraints also posed difficulties, forcing her to navigate a complex web of expectations and limitations. Despite these challenges, Shelly remained focused on her goal of delivering memorable performances and staying true to herself. A pivotal moment in Ariel's career came during a major pay-per-view event, where she and Kevin Thorne participated in a high-stakes tag team match. The match was a showcase of their characters' chemistry and Shelly's ability to perform under pressure. The crowd's reaction was electric, solidifying Ariel's status as one of WWE's most unique and compelling performers. As Ariel's star continued to rise, she became a fan favorite, particularly among audiences who resonated with her gothic aesthetic and outsider persona. Her character's authenticity and depth made her stand out in an industry often criticized for its reliance on stereotypes and superficiality. Ariel wasn't just a character. She was a representation of individuality, resilience, and the power of being unapologetically oneself. Shelly's rise to fame also had a profound impact on her personally. She often reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. From her humble beginnings in Southern California to the bright lights of WWE, the support of her fans, family, and mentors fueled her determination to continue pushing boundaries and redefining what it meant to be a female wrestler. The section concludes with a montage of Ariel's most iconic moments, her dramatic entrances, intense matches, and captivating promos. These moments, captured on camera and etched in the memories of fans, symbolize the peak of Shelly's career and the legacy she was building. Yet, even as she stood at the height of her fame, challenges loomed on the horizon, challenges that would test her resolve and redefine her journey. Shelly Martinez's rise to fame as Ariel in WWE brought with it not only moments of triumph, but also significant challenges that tested her resilience and resolve. Behind the captivating persona and her electrifying performances lay the realities of navigating a high-pressure industry, dealing with personal struggles, and staying true to herself in an environment that often demanded conformity. One of the most immediate challenges Shelly faced was the grueling schedule of a WWE performer. The constant travel, frequent matches, and unrelenting demand to be on took a physical and emotional toll. Days blurred into weeks as she moved from city to city, performing in arenas packed with fans, and then hitting the road again to do it all over. While the adrenaline of performing fueled her in the moment, the lifestyle left little room for rest or personal life. The physical toll of wrestling was compounded by the lack of time to fully recover, leading to chronic fatigue and minor injuries that often went untreated. Shelly's unique persona, which made her a standout on screen, also presented challenges behind the scenes. The wrestling industry, particularly at the time, was often resistant to characters that strayed too far from traditional norms. While fans embraced Ariel's gothic and supernatural elements, some within the company were less supportive. Shelly found herself in creative conflicts, advocating for her character's integrity while navigating the backstage politics that shaped her storylines. The industry's gender dynamics added another layer of difficulty. Women's wrestling during Shelly's era was still fighting for recognition as a legitimate aspect of the sport rather than mere eye candy. While Ariel's character stood out for its depth and originality, Shelly often had to push back against expectations that reduced female performers to secondary roles. Her determination to be taken seriously as an athlete and performer was both a strength and a source of friction in an environment that didn't always prioritize women's contributions. One of the most publicized challenges of Shelly's career came in the form of a backstage controversy that ultimately led to her departure from WWE. The incident, rooted in creative disagreements and interpersonal conflicts, was a turning point in her journey. Shelly has spoken candidly about the experience, describing it as a moment that forced her to reevaluate her priorities and her place in the industry. I had to ask myself if I was willing to keep sacrificing my peace and happiness for this dream. She later reflected, "In the end, I chose to walk away. Leaving WWE was a difficult decision, but it also opened the door for Shelly to explore new opportunities and rediscover herself outside the confines of a major promotion." She returned to the independent wrestling scene, where she had greater creative freedom and control over her career. While the transition was financially and logistically challenging, it allowed her to reconnect with her passion for storytelling and performance. The challenges Shelly faced weren't limited to her professional life. She also grappled with personal struggles, including periods of self-doubt and feelings of isolation. The pressures of fame, combined with the relentless pace of her career, often left her feeling disconnected from her support system. Relationships were difficult to maintain, and moments of loneliness were frequent. Shelly turned to her spirituality and creative outlets to cope, finding solace in meditation, writing, and connecting with fans who share their own stories of resilience and inspiration. Despite these struggles, Shelly's determination to make a difference in the industry never wavered. She used her platform to advocate for mental health awareness, sharing her own experiences with anxiety and burnout to help others navigate similar challenges. Her candidness about the darker aspects of the wrestling world resonated with fans and fellow performers alike, earning her respect as a voice for change and authenticity. As the section progresses, the narrative highlights Shelly's resilience in the face of adversity, whether she was battling injuries, pushing back against creative roadblocks, or finding her way after leaving WWE. She consistently demonstrated a commitment to staying true to herself. Her journey was a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of self-belief, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. The section concludes with a reflective moment, Shelly sitting backstage after an independent show, surrounded by fans and fellow wrestlers who have come to admire her not just for her performances, but for her authenticity and courage. In this quiet moment, she reflects on the lessons she's learned and the strength she's gained from overcoming her challenges. "Every struggle has shaped me," she says, "and every setback has made me stronger." For Shelly Martinez, the peak of her career wasn't defined by a single match or accolade, but by the profound impact she made on the wrestling industry and the fans who connected with her journey. As Ariel, she carved out a space for individuality and authenticity in an industry often defined by rigid expectations. Her legacy extended beyond the confines of the ring, leaving a lasting imprint on wrestling's history and culture. One of the defining moments of Shelly's career came during her tenure with WWE's ECW brand, paired with Kevin Thorne in a storyline centered around Gothic mystique. Ariel quickly became one of the most memorable characters in the brand's roster. Fans gravitated toward her unique persona, which combined theatricality with a palpable sense of authenticity. Her promos, delivered with a mix of eerie seduction and commanding confidence, became a highlight of the show, elevating both her character and the storyline she was part of. During this time, Shelly was part of several high-profile matches and storylines that showcased her versatility as a performer. One standout moment came during a pay-per-view event where she played a pivotal role in a tag team match alongside Kevin Thorne. The match, filled with dramatic reversals and high-stakes moments, captivated the audience and solidified Ariel's status as a fan favorite. Her ability to balance her character's supernatural elements with in-ring athleticism set her apart from her peers, making her one of the most distinctive performers of her era. Beyond her on-screen success, Shelly's impact on the wrestling world was felt in her advocacy for creative freedom and representation. She pushed back against the industry's tendency to homogenize female characters, insisting on staying true to her vision for Ariel. This commitment to authenticity resonated with fans, particularly those who saw themselves reflected in her outsider persona. Ariel became a symbol of individuality and self-expression, inspiring countless fans to embrace their uniqueness. Shelly's influence extended to the independent wrestling scene, where she found a new level of creative freedom after leaving WWE. On the indie circuit, she worked with smaller promotions to develop storylines and matches that aligned with her artistic vision. Her performances during this time were some of her most memorable, as they allowed her to fully explore the depth of her character without the constraints of a corporate environment. One of her most notable moments on the independent scene came during a championship match in a promotion that prided itself on showcasing diverse talent. The match was a culmination of months of build-up, with Shelly positioned as the underdog against a dominant champion. The narrative, crafted with care and precision, highlighted Shelly's resilience and determination. When she won the match, the crowd erupted in cheers, their support a testament to the connection she had forged with her audience. Shelly's legacy was also shaped by her contributions outside the ring. She became a mentor to younger wrestlers, sharing her experiences and offering guidance on navigating the challenges of the industry. Her advocacy for mental health awareness and her candid discussions about the pressures of wrestling made her a relatable and inspiring figure. Shelly's willingness to speak openly about her struggles helped to destigmatize conversations about mental health in the wrestling community. As the section progresses, the narrative delves into Shelly's broader cultural impact through interviews with fans, peers, and industry insiders. The documentary paints a picture of a performer who transcended the boundaries of her role. Ariel wasn't just a character. She was a representation of empowerment, creativity, and the courage to defy expectations. Her story became a source of inspiration for fans who saw in her a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. Shelly's contributions were formally recognized when she was inducted into a prominent Wrestling Hall of Fame. The ceremony, attended by fans, colleagues, and family, was a celebration of her career and the legacy she had built. During her acceptance speech, Shelly reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. "Wrestling gave me a stage," she said, "but it was the fans who gave me a purpose. Every match, every promo, every moment was for you." The section concludes with a montage of Shelly's most iconic moments, her dramatic entrances, emotional matches, and heartfelt interactions with fans. These moments, captured on film and in the memories of those who witnessed them, symbolize the peak of her career and the enduring legacy she left behind. Shelly's journey was more than just a story of success. It was a testament to the power of authenticity, resilience, and the courage to be oneself. As the spotlight began to fade on Shelly Martinez's career, she found herself facing the inevitable challenges that come with stepping away from a life defined by the wrestling ring. For years, wrestling had been her identity, her passion, and her purpose. Leaving it behind was a daunting prospect, one that forced her to confront questions about who she was beyond the persona of Ariel. The physical toll of wrestling was one of the first and most obvious reasons for her gradual decline in the ring. Years of high-impact matches and grueling travel schedules had left her body battered and fatigued. Chronic pain became a part of her daily life, a constant reminder of the sacrifices she had made for her career. Despite her resilience, injuries that had been ignored or minimized over the years now demanded her attention, forcing her to take time away from the ring to heal. Stepping back from wrestling also brought emotional challenges. The adrenaline and energy of performing for live audiences had been a constant in Shelly's life, and its absence left a void that was difficult to fill. The camaraderie of the locker room, The roar of the crowd, and the thrill of storytelling were aspects of her career that she deeply missed. Without them, she often felt adrift, struggling to find a new sense of purpose. The transition was further complicated by the stigma surrounding retirement in the wrestling industry. Fans and critics alike often viewed retired wrestlers as past their prime, and the pressure to remain relevant was intense. Shelly faced this head-on, determined to redefine her narrative and prove that life after wrestling could be just as fulfilling and impactful. During this time, Shelly explored opportunities outside of the wrestling world. She ventured into acting, appearing in independent films and television projects that allowed her to channel her creativity in new ways. While these pursuits brought her a sense of accomplishment, they also came with their own set of challenges. The entertainment industry was no less demanding than wrestling, and Shelly often found herself navigating unfamiliar territory as she worked to establish herself in a new field. Shelly's connection with her fans became a source of strength during this period. Through social media, she maintained an active presence, sharing updates on her life and career while offering words of encouragement and inspiration. Fans responded with unwavering support, reminding her of the impact she had made as Ariel and the ways her story had inspired them. One of the most significant turning points during this phase of her life was her decision to focus on advocacy and mentorship. Drawing from her own experiences, Shelly became a vocal advocate for mental health awareness, body positivity, and creative freedom. She spoke openly about the struggles she had faced during her career, from the physical toll of wrestling to the emotional challenges of maintaining her individuality in a demanding industry. Her candidness resonated with fans and fellow wrestlers alike, fostering a sense of community and understanding. Shelly also found joy in mentoring aspiring wrestlers, sharing her knowledge and experiences to help them navigate the challenges of the industry. She emphasized the importance of authenticity, encouraging her men to embrace their uniqueness and stay true to themselves. For Shelly, this work was deeply fulfilling, allowing her to give back to the industry that had shaped her life. The decline of her in-ring career did not diminish Shelly's legacy. Rather, it added depth and perspective to her story. She became a symbol of resilience, proving that life after wrestling could be filled with purpose and meaning. Her ability to adapt and evolve, even in the face of adversity, inspired others to do the same. The section concludes with a reflective moment. Shelly sitting in a quiet studio, surrounded by memorabilia from her wrestling career. She speaks candidly about her journey, acknowledging the highs and lows that had defined her path. "Wrestling will always be a part of me," she says, "but it's not the only part. I've learned that the end of one chapter is just the beginning of another." As the camera pans out, Shelly's voice echoes, "The ring may have defined my story, but it doesn't define who I am. My legacy isn't just in what I did. It's in the lives I've touched and the lessons I've learned." Shelly Martinez's farewell to the wrestling world was as heartfelt and authentic as the career that had defined her. After years of captivating audiences, inspiring fans, and leaving an indelible mark on the industry, the time had come for her to step away from the ring. Her departure wasn't marked by regret, but by a sense of closure and gratitude for the journey she had undertaken. Shelly announced her retirement through a personal and candid video shared with her fans on social media. Sitting in a simple, unadorned setting, she spoke directly to the camera, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "Wrestling has been my life for so long," she began, "but I've realized it's time for me to move on to the next chapter. This isn't goodbye, it's a new beginning." The response from fans was overwhelming. Messages of support, love, and appreciation poured in from around the world. Many shared personal stories of how Ariel had inspired them, whether by embracing their individuality, overcoming challenges, or pursuing their dreams. The outpouring of affection reaffirmed the impact Shelly had made, not just as a wrestler but as a person. To celebrate her career, Shelly planned a farewell tour on the independent wrestling circuit. The tour was a tribute to her journey, allowing her to perform in venues that had shaped her path and connect with the fans who had supported her along the way. Each event was infused with nostalgia and emotion, as Shelly shared memories, expressed gratitude, and delivered performances that reminded everyone why she had become such a beloved figure. Her final match was a particularly poignant moment, held in her home state of California. The event was attended by friends, family, and fans who had followed her career from the beginning. The match itself was a reflection of everything Shelly had brought to wrestling: drama, athleticism, and storytelling. She faced off against a younger wrestler, symbolizing the passing of the torch to the next generation. The crowd was electric, their cheers a testament to the bond she had forged with her audience. When the final bell rang, Shelly stood in the center of the ring, her hand raised in victory. Tears filled her eyes as she looked out at the cheering crowd, their chants of "Thank you, Shelly," echoing throughout the arena. Overwhelmed with emotion, she took the microphone and delivered a heartfelt speech. "This ring has been my home, my sanctuary, and my greatest teacher," she said. "But more than anything, it's been a place where I've been able to connect with all of you. Thank you for being part of my journey." In a symbolic gesture, Shelly placed her boots in the center of the ring, a tradition in wrestling that signifies retirement. The crowd rose to their feet, giving her a standing ovation as she waved a final goodbye. It was a moment filled with both sadness and celebration, a fitting farewell to a career that had touched so many lives. After her retirement, Shelly shifted her focus to new pursuits. She continued her advocacy work, using her platform to promote mental health awareness, body positivity, and creative freedom. She also launched a podcast where she shared stories from her career, interviewed fellow wrestlers, and offered insights into the challenges and triumphs of the wrestling world. The podcast became a hit, resonating with fans who appreciate her candidness and authenticity. Shelly also explored opportunities outside of wrestling, including acting, writing, and public speaking. Each new venture allowed her to express her creativity and connect with audiences in different ways. While she missed the adrenaline of performing in the ring, she found fulfillment in sharing her experiences and inspiring others to embrace their own journeys. The documentary closes this section with a montage of Shelly's farewell tour, her final match, and moments from her post-wrestling life. Fans and colleagues share their reflections on her career, emphasizing the impact she had made both inside and outside the ring. Shelly wasn't just a wrestler. One fan says, "She was a force of nature, a reminder that it's okay to be different, to be yourself." The section concludes with a quiet, reflective scene. Shelly sitting on a beach at sunset, watching the waves roll in. As the camera pans out, her voice narrates her final thoughts. "Wrestling will always be a part of me, but life is about moving forward, about finding new ways to grow and inspire. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter." Shelly Martinez's journey from a small-town girl with big dreams to an unforgettable wrestling icon is a story of resilience, individuality, and transformation. As Ariel, she captivated audiences with her gothic charisma and authenticity, carving out a place for herself in an industry that often demands conformity. Her career was defined not just by her in-ring achievements, but by the connections she forged with fans and the legacy she built as a trailblazer and advocate. The documentary opens this final chapter by reflecting on Shelly's influence in the wrestling world. Through interviews with peers, fans, and industry insiders, a clear picture emerges of her impact. She wasn't just a performer. She was a symbol of empowerment and creative freedom. Wrestlers who followed in her footsteps credit her for breaking barriers and redefining what it meant to be a female performer in wrestling. Shelly showed us that it's okay to be different. One wrestler remarks, "She made it possible for others to embrace their uniqueness without fear." The cultural impact of Ariel as a character is also explored. Her gothic aesthetic and unapologetic individuality resonated deeply with fans who often felt like outsiders themselves. For many, Ariel wasn't just a character. She was a beacon of acceptance and self-expression. Testimonials from fans reveal how Shelly's journey inspired them to overcome their own challenges and embrace their true selves. "When I saw Ariel," one fan shares, "I felt like someone finally understood me." Shelly's post-wrestling contributions further solidified her legacy as a mentor and advocate. She used her platform to address issues that were often overlooked in the wrestling industry, from mental health and body image to the need for greater representation and creative freedom. Her candidness about her own struggles broke down barriers and encouraged others to seek support and speak their truth. Shelly's ability to turn her challenges into opportunities for growth and inspiration became one of the most defining aspects of her legacy. The documentary highlights Shelly's ventures outside of wrestling, including her successful podcast and her work as a public speaker and writer. These endeavors allowed her to continue connecting with audiences, sharing the lessons she had learned from her career and life. Her autobiography, a candid and heartfelt account of her journey, became a bestseller, offering readers a deeper understanding of the woman behind Ariel and the sacrifices she had made to achieve her dreams. Shelly's legacy is also reflected in the ongoing evolution of women's wrestling. The strides made in showcasing female athletes as legitimate competitors owe much to pioneers like her, who pushed for equality and representation. Through archival footage and commentary, the documentary connects Shelly's advocacy to the current state of the industry, demonstrating how her efforts helped pave the way for a new generation of talent. The final scenes of the documentary bring the focus back to Shelly herself, sitting in her home, surrounded by memorabilia from her career. She reflects on her journey with a mix of pride and humility. "Wrestling gave me so much," she says. "It challenged me, broke me, and built me back up stronger than before. But more than anything, it gave me the chance to connect with people, to tell stories, and to leave a mark." As the camera pans over photos, championship belts, and fan letters, Shelly speaks directly to her fans. "To everyone who supported me, cheered for me, and believed in me, you are the reason I kept going. Your stories, your kindness, your connection, it means everything to me. Thank you for being part of my journey." The documentary concludes with a montage of Shelly's career highlights, from her early matches to her iconic moments as Ariel, interspersed with clips of fans sharing their memories and gratitude. The final shot is of Shelly walking along a quiet beach at sunset, her silhouette illuminated by the fading light. Her voice narrates her closing thoughts. "Life is a story, and wrestling was just one chapter of mine. The ring may be silent now, but the echoes of what we create, those will last forever." The screen fades to black, and the words appear, "Shelly Martinez, a legacy of strength, creativity, and inspiration."